Students in Douglas County were out of class for more than an hour today protesting the firing of Douglas School Superintendent Corey Wise on Friday. Students walked out of class across the district, including these students here at Highlands Ranch High School. The school board's conservative majority voted on Friday to fire Wise. They couldn't come up with a reason, so they fired him without cause. Since then, Douglas School District says there are 3 school teachers who have said that they quit. And people outraged by the board's move are already talking about the idea of a recall. 7 years ago, 3 conservative board members were recalled and replaced in Jefferson County over their efforts to influence curriculum. Our Steve Steger looked into whether the blueprint that Democrats used there would work in more conservative Douglas County.
The vote passes.
Let's start with the obvious.
Arguably, it's a little bit more challenging to remove conservative or right-leaning members of a Douglas County school board because Douglas County does lean Republican.
David Flaherty is a pollster for the right-leaning Magellan Strategies in Colorado. He says any efforts to recall newly elected school board members is going to be an uphill battle in Dougco, even with that online petition that's garnered more than 22,000 signatures.
You need money to make this happen. You need momentum and grassroots support and a want, desire to do that.
Money and momentum, like in 2015 when 3 conservative members of the Jeffco school board were recalled and replaced.
And there was enough belief and energy out there that the conservative school board members at the time were out of touch with the will of parents and voters in general of Jefferson County.
Flaherty says there are differences here, though. First, our politics have changed dramatically since 2015. Second,
really triggered Jeffco was a change in the curriculum that was very alarming to center-left folks.
The removal of a popular superintendent is different.
I don't know if that's going to have the same emotional sort of, heft, if you will.
He's not ready to predict a result of a political effort that can't even begin until late May under state law. But he says you can't count out the blue in school board issues, even in deep red Douglas County.
I think the bright spot for Democrat and progressive organization is that they have had success in Douglas County in a different environment, but still had success of gaining a majority.
Under state law, you can't recall someone until they have served in their elected role for 6 months. It would take 15,000 signatures from registered voters in Dougco to even begin the recall process against any of these school board members. And even if that was successful, it would likely mean the recall would be on the November ballot, which will be packed with statewide issues. Though Flaherty says Colorado voters, they tend to pay attention even when their ballot is jam-packed full of stuff. They pay a lot of attention to local issues. So that could play here if you have enough center left folks who are going to be drawn out to vote in something like this.
Oh, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only covered politics in Colorado for like 10 years or so. But the idea of trying to recall conservative school board members in a conservative county in what is likely to be a Republican wave year seems about as useful as like sticking your hand in a wood chipper.
Flaherty, though, says he's not sure that the Republican wave that we expect to see
nationwide
across the rest of the country will apply here in Colorado, just because Colorado, he says, tends to play a different game when it comes to that. So that could be interesting to watch, though he does say, yeah, it does create an uphill battle, something that anyone who's going to try to lead a recall effort, should there be one, will have to consider in something like this.
There's a lot of churn in that community right now. People are really upset about the superintendent going. That said, the board's going to be making more decisions over the next 1, 3, 6 months, couple of years. So it's not like issues are going to go away in terms of like, can the level of churn be sustained by the people who want to see change?
Yeah, I was actually curious. I asked David Flaherty, do you lose momentum because you have to wait until May here, right?
Yeah.
You can't recall anybody until May. Is some of that momentum going to go away? He says no, and it'll likely become a bigger issue as this board continues to make more decisions over the next few months. People may see them as slanted one way, which would fuel another effort like that. But again, like you said, it's going to be difficult to do in a year when we do expect a lot of Republican turnout, especially in a place like Douglas County.
All right, Steve, thank you.